Your goal, if you want to go to medical school, whether in Canada or the States, is to show medical schools that you are academically able to do well in medical school. Ask Dr. Gray Premed Q&A. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited to do another Ask Dr. Gray episode brought to you by Blueprint MCAT. What can I help you with?
I'm Anne, and I actually located in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
And I'm interested in getting to med school. I'm in my last year of nutritional science, minor in kinesiology at UBC, University of British Columbia. So it's been a long journey. This is my 7th year for undergrad. And my status not great. But I think I have a strong personal statement in terms of my life experiences, because I'm older than most of the candidate with my job experiences. So I'm just trying to see where I can go from now on to embrace my journey.
Yeah. Is your goal to stay in Canada for med school or to come to the States for med school?
I would love to go to the States for med school,
okay.
Just because there's more opportunities and different healthcare system. That would be very exciting for me to learn.
You're like, I want to go to the broken healthcare system. Let's go there. We do have a lot more med schools, so there's a plus side there.
Yeah.
So let's talk. Story. I love story. Right? Your story matters is a big philosophy I have. You are more than your stats is a big motto that I have. But story can't make up for poor academic record if that academic record shows that you're not academically able to do well in medical school.
Mm-hmm.
So, how bad are your stats? Are they Canada bad, which is probably not that bad, or are they US bad?
I think it's I don't really know how to convert it. I went to your website and I'm having a hard time converting it to the US GPA system.
Okay.
I will have to say my average of overall, including with my college transfer, is sitting at 76%.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So 76% in our, if you were to do a straight translation, would be a C+.
Yeah. That's here is like a B- or B. So
yeah. So yeah, no, it could be B-. Yeah, B-. So B would be 80%. No. My numbers are all messed up.
I don't even know.
Yes. So 90% we would consider an A. B would be 80%. C would be 70%. And so 76% we would go to a B-. You would drop it down a little bit from that B.
Yeah.
So a B- average, not med school material.
No.
Yet. Why 7 years of undergrad?
I actually moved to Canada alone when I was 17. Okay. And then I learned English for a year. And then I took business because I thought that would be fun. And I work and I realized business is it's fun. I would like to learn it, but it's not what I'm passionate and career driven about.
Yeah.
Because I just want to try that out. So I transferred to college.
Okay.
And so the rest is history with science. It's ups and downs in terms of life because I'm here alone, so I do have to support myself financially.
Yep.
So that's the reason why I took longer. But along the way, I learned more coping mechanism. When I fail, I know what I can do for the next step. So I am just in my journey to embrace my love for science, I feel.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago did you make the switch from business and whatever else you were doing to, okay, I want to be a doctor?
I think that would be 3 years ago. I volunteer with various healthcare professions, dietitian, physiotherapist, just immerse myself with different profession. And I see surround myself with a lot of like med school students that made me realize like, wow, like they're really supportive. I love their mindset, and that kind of makes me wanted to do more in that, exploring that area.
Okay. Since you've been back to school, how have your grades been?
I took a gap year in 2020. Before that, I was straight A for my third, like upper level for my nutritional science courses. Was 82. I was almost on honor roll. And then after that, I came back and I was working full-time and being full-time. So my GPA dropped to 71 for that year.
Okay. So you're on a downward trend.
Yeah.
Stupid work. So the question is, what's next, right? At the end of the day, the answer always is, what's next? And how are you going to show academic ability? I'm assuming you're a Canadian citizen?
I am now, yes.
So,
I just got it 2 years ago. Yeah.
So Canadian citizen equals not eligible for federal financial aid here in the States, if I know that correctly.
Yes,
okay.
That's true. I think so.
Yeah. So coming to the States for medical school, coming to the States to do any sort of post-bac work is much harder because of the financial situations, unless you won the lottery that we don't know about. Thinking about next steps, how are you going to show academic ability moving forward, right? Your goal, if you want to go to medical school, whether in Canada or the States, is to show medical schools that you are academically able to do well in medical school. Period. End of story. That is the foundation first, right? I get a lot of flack from people who are like, oh, Dr. Ray says anyone can go to medical school. And I was like, yes, if they show they're academically able to. That doesn't mean you have to you have to have a 4.0. It means you can have a 2.5 as long as you have lots of credits recently that show, hey, like I'm close to a 4.0 student when I put my heart into it, and I don't have to work, and I don't have to do this or that, whatever. So the question is, what are you going to do? How are you going to show that you are academically able to do well in medical school?
That's a very good question I've been thinking about. There's like different path I was thinking about to take. So I was thinking about, I'm actually like done all my credits from the semester, but I was thinking about taking an extra year to take more courses.
Okay.
Maybe like retaking some of it, depending on, I'm just kind of like not sure in that area yet.
Okay.
That's a thing that I would like to hear your input. It's either that, or I would just apply to a master program and potentially in public health, because I know a lot of MD has MPH for like, yeah. So I was thinking about either or.
So an MPH is useless.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for the purposes of showing academic ability, because MPHs are not hard sciences.
Right.
Your goal is to take
science
all the time, as much as possible.
Yeah.
And get A's.
Okay. Yeah.
That's your goal.
That includes what retakes or just like upper level?
Ideally, less retakes and more kind of continuation, upper division, other kind of stuff that you haven't taken before, cell biogenetics kind of classes. An A in a retake looks not as good as an A in a new class. So just keep that in mind as much as possible. The math all works out the same, right? It's just more credits and a bigger denominator and hopefully lots of points on that numerator as well.
That's a really good insight. But in terms of, I heard from your channel, which I've been following, that's I really love the fact that you address with a lot of students in terms of their Postbac program or how they can boost up their GPA to get to where they want to be.
Yep.
I just wonder, like, what is the difference between postbac, which is after you graduate, or you continue prolong your graduation? Would that?
There's no difference ultimately.
There's no difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ultimately, there's no difference. On the PDF of the printout, when you go and you make an application, you submit your application, and then you print out the PDF, it will have high school freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, postbac, graduate. It'll have a separate line item for postbac work. But the way that medical schools will see it is they'll see it potentially as postbac work, but then they'll also see it as kind of last 20 hours, last 40 hours, last 60 hours, regardless of graduate, postbac, or undergraduate level work. Medical schools can sort and filter however they want. So ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's the same. Your goal is to have 20, 30, 40 plus credits as close to a 4.0 as possible.
And that's preferably in like full-time status?
It doesn't have to be full-time. I mean, it shouldn't be one class a semester, but it should be rigorous enough. So 8 to 12 credits. You don't have to do 20 credits a semester. That's a lot.
No, I don't think I can do that with working full-time or working at all.
Yeah. And so the question for you and for anyone else in a situation where you're working as well is, do you have to work and take classes at the same time? Or can you work extra right now, take time off from school, work extra right now, move in or change your living situation so that you are paying as little as possible in rent, get rid of your car, like eat ramen noodles, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
For a year or two so that you can then switch to full-time student mode and go, okay, I have enough in my savings. My lifestyle is decreased enough. I'm not worried about needing to work anymore. I can just focus on school.
Okay. Yeah. I love that questions. Nobody really tell me about it. All my advisors were just kind of like, maybe you should think about every other profession.
Of course.
Rather than.
Of course.
Yeah. I love that. I guess my follow-up question in terms of that is just, obviously I need to prove my academic capability. But then the next question was, I admire one of I don't remember her name, but she's PhD and MD. I'm just kind of like wondering, like, what's your take on research and then apply to med school after, or just into the States? Or
I'm not sure I understand your question.
So I was thinking about, it's a science credit in Canada. We have that. It's called directive study. So you work along with a professor, and then you get credits for it.
Okay.
I don't know if States has that, but would that consider a research experience and then a science credit, or would that just be an experience?
I mean, if you're getting credit, you're getting credit, class credit. It would probably be less impactful than like an actual course, because you're not really taking tests and studying and all of that fun stuff. You're just getting credit for showing up and working.
Okay.
Right. So that to me seems like you're trying to take the easy way out if you're doing that.
Oh, okay. I was thinking about that would be like a good clinical research experience that can be also being like dual on my applications. But
if you want to, I think research is very overrated when it comes to pre-meds thinking about activities. I am much more fond of clinical experience. You're entering a clinical world where you're taking care of patients. And so you need to have clinical experiences where you're taking care of patients so you can prove to yourself that that's what you want, that's what you like. Shadowing, obviously as a Canadian applicant, clinical experience and shadowing is very different than it is here in the States. And so you need to do whatever you can do to kind of get some in somewhere potentially.
Okay. Yeah. I love that, like Canadian because of the privacy, it's really hard to find a shuttling for
Yeah.
a doctor. So I guess in terms of when I'm going to take like 2 years to do this, I thought about it, probably then apply. I know you mentioned clinical experiences, but other experiences will be helpful for me to the next step. For what's your take on that? Like
I don't look at experiences as, does it help my application? Does it hurt my application?
Mm-hmm.
You should be doing what you want to do as a human being on this planet, as a person with your own interests and passions. That may be volunteering at the local playhouse. It could be volunteering at the local zoo. It could be volunteering at the local soup kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you feel passionate about, you should be doing. And you need clinical experience and shadowing for typically U.S. medical schools, because that's just how we prove here in the States that you know what you're getting yourself into. And I've kind of wrestled with this kind of thought for a long time, because in Canada, shadowing and clinical experience is less of a thing than it is here in the States. And we got plenty of people going to medical school in Canada. But I think it's just so different here because of our education system, because of our healthcare system, that you get into a lot more debt here in the States to go to medical school, to come out and practice in a field where there are lots of obstacles to practicing medicine potentially in the way that you want to because of our private health insurance here. And so we need to make sure that students are aware of all of the different things that are going to make their lives really hard. Versus in Canada, you go to undergrad, you go to medical school, you still have debt, but it's not as burdensome, and it's less of a financial stress on your whole life like it is here in the States. And so we just make sure, like, are you really sure this is what you want? Whereas in Canada and many other parts of the world, right, you go straight into medical school. You don't even go to undergrad. And so the debt and practicing medicine is just very different. And so it's less of a concern. And you can go through your journey in other parts of the country, or other parts of the world rather, and go, you know what, I really don't want to be a doctor. And some parts of the world, it's hard to go back and get another degree because it's paid for by the government. And so they don't want to pay for you to go to school twice or whatever. But I don't know, I'm on a tangent.
No, I totally see that. Yes, I think that will be hard to come by. Some of my friends did apply to the States, and it's really hard for them to fill out the blank of clinical experiences.
Yeah.
So
hard, but not impossible. I know plenty of Canadian students with lots of clinical experience and lots of shadowing.
I will definitely look into that. I guess, you're right. Just like find a way to do so.
Yeah. The best way is networking. So potentially finding a job in a hospital, and then networking your way into, hey, Dr. Smith, like, you see me here every day working. Do you mind if I stay an extra hour or two and just hang out with you?
Okay, yeah. I think that's a very, very good kind of like a gist. So I'm glad that you answered my question that master is not helpful.
Yeah. Master's in public health is not helpful. A master's degree in some sort of hard sciences, potentially.
Oh, okay. I love that. So I guess going back to grades and stats, when I converting, so I guess we just need to make sure that it's A, which is like 80% within the Canadian system, because I actually don't know how to convert it into this.
It's very simple. Google. You do AMCAS grade conversion. And they have a PDF, a multi-page PDF that has lots of different grading scales and what it converts to here in the US. Okay.
And before that, do I need to like figure it out what school that I need to like attend to first in terms of my stats? Like,
no, grade-wise doesn't matter for schools in terms of converting and what that actually looks like. What you'll have to worry about is which schools are Canadian friendly.
Oh, okay. I love that question. Okay.
So some medical schools view Canadian applicants as international students.
Mm-hmm.
Some medical schools view Canadian applicants as out-of-state residents.
Mm-hmm.
So not international, but not in-state. They'll view you as out-of-state, which is better than international. And so it just takes some homework to find the Canadian-friendly schools. Unfortunately, we don't have that built into Mapped yet.
Yeah, that's okay. That's just that makes it more fun for me to find the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I love that.
It's like a scavenger hunt.
Literally is. Whatever suits me for the next 4 years of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's all my questions in terms of what I can do. Is there any resources that I know you mentioned a couple on your podcast, which I have been trying to seek and organize? Did you think that it would be helpful for me to like have a actual coaches going through this process with me?
Having an advisor.
Yeah.
I'm biased. I have an advising company, so
Yeah.
I have advisors who work with me, and we advise lots of students. You're still several years away from potentially applying, and so what I would do for you, the more cost-effective but still very efficacious way to interact with one of our advisors is if you sign up for a Mapped account, you can get chat advising with one of our advisors built in, right? It's just there. So you're not paying for a one-time Zoom session. You're in Mapped and logging all of your stuff in there, and then you jump over to the advising tab and go, hey, I have a question.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that will be really helpful. Yeah, you're correct. I'm kind of like far along because I want to make sure I'm committed too.
Yep.
It's really insightful with this meeting, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate your time. One of the other big obstacles on your journey will be the MCAT. Once you get your solid kind of core foundational science knowledge down, then go get a free Blueprint MCAT account where you get a free half-length diagnostic, a free full-length exam, access to their flashcards, and a study planner tool. So go and check out blueprintmcat.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck on your journey.